started work as a dispatcher. With a master's degree from Rollins College and graduating from the FBI National Academy, he has also earned an impressive number of certificates and completions from world-renowned security and law enforcement programs. Married to his wife Marissa for over 40 years, Sheriff Judd serves the community in many ways, including serving as the current Vice President of the Florida Sheriff's Association. It is my honor and pleasure now to introduce Sheriff Grady Judd.
Thank you very much. It's certainly an honor to be your sheriff and to be with you on this Memorial Day. Memorial Day isn't a day of remembrance for those who died in our nation's service, for our military servicemen and women who made the ultimate sacrifice. But let's not forget all of those who have served in the military in the past and who are serving today. And do you know why we can meet here today? Why we can meet here without fear? Because we live in a free democracy. Because we live in the greatest nation in the world. Because men and women have gone before us, have spilled their blood, and have died so we could live as we live today. We all know that freedom isn't free. These heroes agreed to protect and to serve us, to defend our freedom, not because it's an easy job, but because it's their calling. And they're willing and are willing and have laid down their lives. Multitudes of men and women have laid down their lives since our country's birth. And they do it because they love this country, because they love freedom, because they love their democracy, but because they are servant leaders. They have crafted the path that we all follow. John 15:13 tells us that greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. In the last 12 years alone, we've seen our share of conflicts worldwide, and the majority of them resolve around the terrible word we've all grown to accustom, and that's terrorism. Terrorism is the new war. You see, there's no country, no organized country in this world that can stand up to the might and the power of the United States of America. Do you remember back 12 years on 9/11, the day we felt violated, enraged, unified, and determined to bring those to justice that manufactured and created that horrible day. All heroes from all walks of life rushed in to help. Police, fire, EMS, but most importantly, the civilians, the community, those that didn't know anyone at the Pentagon, those that didn't know anyone in that field in Pennsylvania, those that didn't know anyone in New York City ran to help, because that's what we as Americans do. Since that time, Osama bin Laden has been located and brought to swift justice. Saddam Hussein was removed from power, brought to justice, and deservedly executed. And many, many other terrorists have been eliminated. But we can't let our guard down. As we all know, there are others trying to harm us every day. The heroes of these most recent conflicts stand on the shoulders of giants, though. Those who battled in conflicts, both foreign and domestic, before. Those who created this greatest generation and nation we have today. Please remember, our military men did not choose their war. They did not choose their battle. They did not choose the conflict for which they had to fight in. All they did was choose to do what was right for this country. We stand on the shoulders of our veterans. As I was able to greet the crowd today, I saw veterans from World War II, from Korea, from Vietnam, from Iraq and Afghanistan. These individuals are all servant leaders, but more importantly, they are heroes to us. They exemplify what's right for the United States of America. And they serve us and ensure we have the freedom that we can be with our children today at the beach, that we can be with our children today at the picnic. Jesus tells us that greatness is not ruling over others, but serving them. In Matthew 20, 26 through 28, Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first must first be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and give his life as a ransom for many. Our servant leaders came to serve. And many gave their life so that we could have what we have today. And then in the 22nd chapter of Ezekiel, the prophet speaks of the intercessors who were needed to stand in the gap before God on behalf of the needs of the people. Ezekiel said, I looked for a man among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land so I would not have to destroy it. But I found none. Today Ezekiel would find a lot of men and women who stand in the gap. Our military first responders willingly take the risk. They stand in the gap. And you know what's interesting? They never ask, why me? They charge in and say, why not me? Servant leaders are heroes in adversity. But we remain one nation under God. And anyone that wants to take under God out of the United States is just plain wrong. Our servant leaders under God have fought through the conflict and emerged heroes. Our servant leaders fought through tragedy under God and emerged a hero. Through the rising death tolls, our servant leaders never took a step backward. Servant leaders are God-fearing. The Bible in Psalms 32:12 says, blessed is the nation whose God is Lord. I believe this promise from God, and I pray that we'll always be a nation where God is Lord. First responders and military men are a vital part of our community, but the community partners, the supporters behind the military men and women, those of you who have served, and after you served this nation so valiantly, now you support those that serve on the front line. We're all partners. Our President Ronald Reagan said it best, no arsenal, no weapon. No weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and the moral courage of free men and women. But we must never forget. We must never forget. I ask for your prayers today and every day for our veterans. I ask for your prayers today and every day for the men and women who are in the armed services. I ask for your prayers today and every day for our first responders that charge in when others run away. I also ask that you make a conscious effort and go out of your way to thank our veterans for their service. Thank them because they served and because many died. We live today. May God bless you always.